What's going on, muscle monsters? Alain Gonzalez here, and today I want to talk about strength standards. Okay, we're told oftentimes that after a year of training or within that first year of training, we should be able to bench press 225 for reps, squat 315 for reps, and deadlift 405 for reps. All right, and although this may be the case for the overwhelming majority of people, there are certain individuals who may not hit these numbers but still make just as much progress as the next guy. All right, just like there's guys who are naturally bigger, naturally stronger, and more athletic who just happen to surpass these numbers pretty quickly. Right, I've seen guys who just started deadlifting pull 30 or 315 or 405 on their first time ever deadlifting. Now I understand that these are freaks, and maybe they have specific leverages that are just going to make them a little bit better at specific exercises, but the fact remains, some guys are going to be able to hit these numbers easier, while some guys will struggle to hit these numbers. And then, in my opinion, the overwhelming majority, guys who came from being a normal size, maybe not extremely skinny, should be able to hit these numbers. I wouldn't say easily, but definitely it's a viable goal. Okay, and so the point I want to make today is, if you haven't hit those numbers, right? And this is not for those guys who started off like I did at like 110 pounds, who bench pressing 225 for 10 reps is not likely after just a year of training, right? Those guys who could barely lift the bar are not likely to hit 225 for 10 reps in a year, right? But they could still add 1 or 200, well, maybe not 200, but over 100 pounds to their bench, which is still significant progress, right? And so if you don't fall in that extremely skinny range or that extremely weak starter, then you should be able to hit these numbers. And if you haven't, I'm going to tell you why and how you can fix it. Okay. And in the beginning, it's easy, right? We just add weight to the bar. Our bench press goes up week to week. In the beginning, maybe even from session to session. Okay. But eventually, as we've all experienced, that progress slows down. And it slows down, and then it eventually stops completely. Okay, and this still happens within a year if we don't change our training, more specifically the way that we periodize our training. Okay, in the beginning, linear periodization and linear progression is going to get you the best and fastest results. But once you're not able to add weight to the bar anymore, in fact, maybe you can't even get any more reps, it's time to train a little bit more strategically. You see, if you are someone who is starting off at a regular size, you know, you're not a super huge guy, but you're also not super skinny. If you're that guy and within a year you're getting close to 225, then chances are you've experienced most of your newbie gains. Okay, and so because you're further ahead, you will have to start training not necessarily as an intermediate would, but maybe a more advanced novice, right? Maybe an intermediate, however you want to categorize it. Okay, and so what has to start happening here is managing volume and intensity, right? Because if we are bench pressing once a week, or we are stuck in one rep range, right? We're only benching for, say, 8 reps. We're not going to maximize the other adaptations, right? For example, if we train on the bench for 3 to 5, that's going to give us the best strength gains, right? But if we only train in the 8 to 12, there will come a point where it's going to be harder to get stronger in that rep range. So you want to include a heavier day where the intensity's higher, where you're training with more weight for less reps. And what this is going to do is it's going to increase your strength And if you're stronger for 5 reps, right, then you are going to be stronger when you go back to your 8 to 12 reps, okay? And what happens when you're stronger in the 8 to 12 reps is you progress and you build muscle. And so that newly added muscle is going to help you get stronger when you go back to training in the 3 to 5 range, right, with a heavier load. And it becomes this virtuous cycle, right, where the 3 to 5 range gets you stronger, and that added strength allows you to get bigger by progressing in the quote-unquote hypertrophy rep range. And then that new muscle makes it easier to get stronger when you're back again training for strength, and on and on and on. Now, there is no one way to do it. There are plenty routines out there that break it down by a heavy day and a moderate day, and the best way to choose which one you should follow, right, is figure out, number 1, how do you like to train? Number 2, how many days do you have available to train, right? Because if one routine says you have to be in the gym 5 days, but you can only make it 3 or 4, then that's not going to be the right routine for you, okay? And it also has to be something you enjoy, so you're going into the gym primed and excited, because that's how you're going to perform your best. All right? One thing I would highly recommend that you don't do, right? Because if you don't already know the answer to this question, then you're probably not versed enough to create your own program, is just that, create your own program, right? Although it's not complicated, I'd rather see you run a program that's already been proven, right? And then as you grow and as you progress, put some time to the side, get more knowledgeable, and over time, go ahead and create your own thing. But in the beginning, if you want to maximize that first 1 to 2 years, right, these magical years in your training, then do something that has already been proven, right? Follow that all the way through. And then when you're knowledgeable enough, when you don't have to ask questions about what's the best routine, what's the best exercise, what's the best rep range, when you don't have to ask those questions anymore, then maybe you can consider creating your own program. So that's pretty much it, guys. Just a quick video. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, click the like button below, and I'll talk to you soon.